The sweet taste of Diet Dr. Pepper.
It's not diet.
Yeah, but
regular
it's from the
Dr.
commercials. Can you do a high pitched voice? The sweet taste. A sweet taste. No?
We just
What's your
lost so many
high-pitched voice,
subscribers. The sweet taste.
Oh, you're better than me. Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm much better than you at many things.
Oh, really? Really?
But we're drinking Dr. Pepper and Captain Morgan.
We're going to read an email from one of our sponsors, from Claytin. Greetings from South Phoenix. How are you guys doing on this fine day?
Splendid.
Pretty fucking good.
Pretty good. How are you,
Oh my
Clayton?
God.
Clayton's doing really well.
Responding like that to somebody.
I'm doing
How are you?
really fucking good right now.
Fucking on cloud 9. Like,
Wow, you're too good. You're a little too good
I'm going
right
to
now.
leave. I'm uncomfortable. Could you make an exception on the show for an upcoming episode?
Hell yes, we can.
Here's my dealio. My 21st birthday is on 9/9, and my go-to drink is Captain Morgan and Dr. Pepper, about a 25-75 mix in a regular coffee cup, 25 being the Morgan.
I would hope so. I would hope so. I was like, uh-oh.
What I do
We're going
is
to get really messed up
I get
this
some
episode.
Captain Morgan and I splash some Dr. Pepper into it.
Would you like a little bit of Dr. Pepper with your captain?
Maybe instead of beer, it could be subbed out in the honor of the last birthday anybody cares about.
I mean, I guess that's true.
Oh, it's
21st
so
birthday.
True. It's so true.
Except when you hit 25, you don't have to pay taxes on rental cars anymore.
Did I ever tell you about the when I turned 21, what I did?
You may have.
So in Utah, I think the cutoff at the time was 1 a.m. to buy alcohol.
Yeah.
And on my 21st birthday, I went the day before and tried to buy booze like 10 minutes before midnight just to see if I could do it. And the guy was like, "No, man, you got to wait."
He made you wait?
Yeah.
What a douchebag.
But I thought it was pretty funny. It was fun.
All right, I got, hang on. I don't know if that's quite 25. Okay, it's 25 of Captain in my coffee cup. And we do have coffee
25
cup.
me. Yeah, we're drinking them out of coffee mugs.
So about 25?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, coffee
baby.
mugs, because he said coffee mugs. So we're here. Coffee mugs, Captain Morgan, and Dr. Pepper.
It's time to get into the abyss,
Which
motherfucker.
is funny because,
Sorry.
geez, watch where you're pouring. You like almost went out of
I
your
got
coffee
excited.
cup. Cleet's doing really good today, folks.
Really fucking
Really good today. Which it's kind of crazy though, because I bought the perfect beer for this episode and I fucking forgot it. So next week will have to suffice. But listen to
Fair
this.
enough.
Listen.
That's a beautiful sound.
Oh
It's
shit.
out.
Oh shit.
It's how an angel gets its wings when you pour a mixed drink.
Yes. So if he doesn't mention any ice, we don't have any ice, but you know, whatever.
Yeah, we
the
don't
Dr.
need
Peppers
ice.
are cold.
All right, but back to business. I was thinking, since the aliens did it joke has become so popular on the show, that maybe you guys could cover some bigger, wacky alien conspiracies like Dulce Base, Majestic 12, Project Serpo, or Stardust Ranch.
Hell yeah, we can. And
Which ones will we which topics will we cover tonight?
well, out of the 4 you gave us, I think we did. I know we did Majestic 12 on the iceberg, and I believe we did Project Serpo as well. So I went with Dulce Base and Stardust Ranch for these two, which means we will circle back to the other ones, even though we've done them on the iceberg because we want to do a deeper dive. But yeah, we do a lot of the aliens did it on this. I think it's I don't know. It's just my escape to anything. Like aliens did it. They're
Aliens
responsible
fucking
for
did it.
almost everything.
No, something slightly bizarre happened. So maybe some interdimensional beings from Venus came here and just probed people.
Yeah, and I will say, this episode and researching is going to give us a lot more context into the aliens did it. It just gives so much more.
I'm so fucking excited when I saw Dulce Base, whatever
I
it
think
is.
it's Dulce or Dolce. I don't know.
Dulce Base.
I don't know how to pronounce
I've
it.
heard
Dulce,
about it,
Dolce.
yeah.
It's
So-
kind of cool.
All right, speaking of the topics of aliens, do you guys have any personal UFO story/sightings? So for me, no.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Sadly, I wish we could.
Yeah. Personally, I've seen something unexplained in the sky a total of 3 times.
Damn.
Oddly enough, all 3 encounters have been here in the city. Fair warning, these are all just quick. I saw it and said, what was that? And back to life like nothing really happened. A little background. I live in the suburb of Phoenix called Surprise.
Surprise! Aliens!
And I work in the aerospace industry in downtown, which is like a 40-mile trip on my way, about 30 to 50-minute commute. The first story, back in November of 2021, when I was training, I worked the day shift to accommodate for the trainer's schedule, 6 a.m. to 2:30 p.m.
It's a good shift.
I don't know, man. They had made overtime mandatory, requiring a 50-hour work week. But we could put the extra 10 hours anywhere in the week. So naturally, I said, fuck that, see ya here at 4 a.m.
Oh, damn.
Since any time after 2:30 p.m., the I-10 was hell due to rush hour.
We get that at like anywhere from 3 to 7 o'clock.
Yeah, that seems pragmatic, actually. I agree with what you did. Anyways, on my way home in the early morning with my car reading 47 Fahrenheit outside at 3:18 a.m., I was starting up the ramp that takes you off the 303 loop south to the I-10 west, and the ramp is probably a solid 30-degree incline to turn to the left until you turn and start your descent. So it has you looking into the sky for the most part, and that particular morning, as I'm about halfway up the ramp, I could see an odd turquoise light starting shooting across the sky. And this goes for a considerable distance and then takes an immediate 45-degree turn and just fades off till it dissipates into the sky.
Good Lord.
This took place all in the span of close to 3 seconds. So naturally, I just continued to work with what I saw and chalked it up to aliens. My second story, this one was about July 11th of 2023. Now, it's worth mentioning that since the early 2022s, I've been out training and working 2:30 p.m. to 11 p.m.
That's a shitty shift.
As that is the shift I was hired for. After work on this very, very warm night, this has been an extremely hot summer, being that we have had continuous weeks of being over 110 degrees Fahrenheit and it being 112 Fahrenheit out at the time of writing this.
Jesus.
I finally make it home after my commute to meet my buddy, who is sitting on the sidewalk of my house waiting for me so we can go smoke a bit and hop into the pool.
That's a good night.
Yeah, it is. Being that it is almost midnight at this point, you'd expect it to cool off. Despite that, we go out back and I catch a glimpse of the outside thermometer we have, and it's reading 103 degrees Fahrenheit at midnight.
Fuck that, dude.
Anyways, some time passes, we get in the pool to beat the heat, and the time is roughly about 1 a.m. to 1:30. And we are just doing the normal bros, talking about anything, as I'm looking up at the sky, as I normally do. Stargazing is on my favorite pastimes. I see this abnormally bright star almost directly above my head. Now, when this thing catches my eyes, I just think to myself, wow, Venus or Jupiter or some other planet. It's super bright out tonight. But then, as I look closer at it, I notice that it's moving not super fast, but it's moving enough for me to distinguish the fact it is. At this point, I'm trying to get my buddy to see what I'm seeing, but he isn't as good as catching small details that subtly stick out.
He's like, look up.
I'm
Look up
drunk.
there.
I've been drinking Captain Morgan.
He's like, dude, it's just stars. Leave me alone.
As I'm watching this light float in a straight line to the east, I then realize that it's also fading away. Also, I'm frantically trying to get my buddy to find what I'm looking at. I watch it finally disappear after a solid 10 to 15 seconds of visibility. My third story. This one was about August 3rd of 2023. Heading home after a night of work, so probably around 11:20 p.m. or so, following the 303 loop north to get home, and as I crest the overpass that passes Cactus Road,
Only in Arizona.
right, I was thinking the same thing. I see an average light way out above the mountains, fly to the east above the mountain range, and turn up about 50 degrees, and quickly fade off after. Now, this isn't my first sighting anymore, so I shrug it off and go home and enjoy the rest of my night.
Well, Clayton, I think you have seen 3 UFOs.
Finishing up the email with a few questions. Will the show ever have some sort of mail outlet like a P.O. box?
I think we've talked about it.
We have
But
talked
there's
about
a couple problems. Number one, we live in Utah, and you can't ship alcohol into Utah.
Yes.
That's the biggest problem. So if we did have a P.O. box, it would have to be somewhere outside of Utah.
Like, you could ship us alcohol, but you'd be committing a crime.
That's true. And we don't want you to commit a crime.
Now, I've looked on Reddit and,
Oh.
look on Reddit. You decide that.
Yeah. So, here's the thing. We will probably have a P.O. box for other stuff. Like, obviously, if you want to send us stuff for the show or whatever, fantastic. I think that's a great thing. And then...
Spiderbomb.com.
Yeah, but alcohol would be great, but it also,
God, that would be sweet.
Yeah, it can't be in Utah. So Hopefully we'll get one.
Don't
We have to
break the
figure
law.
that stuff out. Yeah, but don't break the law. Like, we really appreciate it, and I will drink it if you send it. But I don't want you to go to jail.
That's illegal.
So, to answer your question, yes, we'd love a P.O. box, but be careful.
He also asks, has anyone seen the movie Awake?
I believe so. Is that the one where he... So if it's the movie where he gets put down for anesthesia for like a surgery, but actually doesn't go to sleep and he can feel everything, I've seen that. I don't know if that's the one you're talking about, though.
Yeah, he said he would like to hear our thoughts on the movie. I would have to watch it because I have not seen it.
I like it if it's the one you're talking about. If not, let us know. But I like the one that I saw.
And then he ends the email with one more recommendation topic is to cover the back rooms, since you could go many ways with the research. Yeah, we've considered covering, like, I've seen the back rooms, I've considered covering it, and we might go into it. So
Yeah.
And then I like how he ends it, or I like the final sentence. He says, anyways, I know you're busy, so thank you for taking the time to read this and acknowledge it, and thank you for the laughs to come from the show. That comes from the show. I really enjoy how it's devolved from the first few episodes, since it was more scripted and censored, opposed to the funny tangents that are explored, to the sexual jokes and quick quips to keep the lighthearted mood going. And then he goes, sincerely, ya boy. I do agree with that because
We've come a long way.
I just think like scary channels are just so fucking serious, man.
Yeah.
Like just have someone throw a goddamn pie.
Yeah, every now and again. I mean, it's like, yeah, I don't know. I think at first we were like testing the waters because we were so new to it. So we're like, oh, we want, you know, and then we just kind of said, you know what, fuck it.
We're
Whatever.
just a couple of idiots running a podcast.
Yeah, spilling coffee cup drinks on our pants.
That was from my beer from earlier, so fuck you.
I'm sure this drink has a name already, but like, is it like Dr. Captain?
Dr. Captain.
Captain Pepper. I think we're going to call it Captain Pepper.
You don't want to meet Captain Pepper.
Yeah, Captain Pepper.
Someone told me he's pretty spicy.
It's pretty good. I'm not upset by it. I think that the Dr. Pepper and Captain kind of clash.
We're more of a whiskey crowd, I would say. Not necessarily a snob. I generally just drink it straight because I have alcoholism.
Happy birthday, Clayton. Thank you for the suggestion. And honestly, like, thank you for taking the time to write into us. You know, we will definitely read it. Anybody who writes stuff into us, we're more than happy to cover it. And honestly, I had a lot of fun researching this stuff.
I'm so excited.
Without further ado, we're going to jump into the first topic, Dulce bass. And I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Like Dulce, I don't know.
I've
Dulce.
heard it on the History Channel.
Okay. There's an unassuming little town in New Mexico, a desert hamlet called Dulce, which houses fewer than 3,000 residents. It's so small it doesn't even have a single traffic light.
That's crazy,
right? It's the sort of place you may pass through without even passing a second glance. However, this tiny little place is home to one of the biggest conspiracy theories, a theory involving aliens. The best.
Goddamn aliens.
Ufologists and theorists alike suggest that below the surface lies a 7-story military facility in which extraterrestrials experiment on humans, and vice versa. The base is known as Dulce Base.
At least we're returning the favor, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, you can experiment on us, but we'll experiment on you.
You're not the only ones who can probe, E.T. Damn.
That happened to me, and E.T. looked at me, made direct eye contact, and said, "This isn't for science."
Oh, God. I did not come for science. This is for pleasure. God damn. Oh, shit. I spilled too. God damn it.
God, you're an
This
idiot.
is not the drink for us. We're spilling everywhere. It's the coffee cup. Which is funny because I don't spill coffee when I drink from a coffee cup. I will drive with one of these fuckers.
This isn't for science.
This is
You
not
imagine
for
an alien saying that.
It's just eye contact. This is not for
I
science.
need to express that this is not for science or the advancement of knowledge for my species.
I don't want to lie to you. I need you to know why this is happening to
Can you
you.
imagine seeing that on like an alien documentary?
God damn.
He talked to me telepathically, and it was fucked up.
It was fucked up. You will not believe what he said. I love how we're like one paragraph in and we're already devolving to this nonsense. But that could be a shirt. This is not for science. It is for pleasure. I would buy that shirt.
God.
I would buy that shirt. Let us know in the comments if you would buy that shirt. All right, back to it. In 1979, an Albuquerque businessman named Paul Benowitz became convinced that he was intercepting electronic communications from alien spacecraft and installations outside of Albuquerque. The electronic signals appeared to be emanating from deep below the ground and directed at a target way too high for human activity. He became convinced that he had discovered a secret underground base near Dulce that was populated by gray aliens in the 80s. These claims gained attention in popular press by 1983, and the story spread so rapidly through the UFO community, which led to ufologist John Lear claiming independent confirmations of the base's existence in 1987. Now, if the name Lear sounds familiar, John was the son of the inventor of the Learjet, so his words had some credibility. His detailed claims went as far as describing different species of aliens that allegedly visited Earth. So he went even deeper, like, hey, it's not just aliens. There's different species of aliens, different types. Benowitz's claims aren't the only to lend credence to the existence of a base. A state trooper spotted a strange craft in the sky, along with mutilated cattle with a dead fetus inside on the ground in Dulce. He claimed that the unborn calf appeared to be a bizarre hybrid that looked like a human, a monkey, and a frog. So I'm getting like Mel's Whole feels here.
You know, I've heard that a lot of government bases do genetic testing where they mix species.
In cows?
In everything. Like they'll mix like different species together. It's interesting, like splicing DNA together.
Right. But it's always cows. And like in UFO reported areas.
You know, cows are plentiful and I could see them as some type of experimentation apparatus.
Yeah. While searching the area, he also stumbled across gas masks, indicating to him that the government was involved. He said, the evidence that was left there, predators don't leave gas masks, glow sticks, radar chaff. They don't leave that stuff.
Radar chafe? Just kidding.
Chafe from my radar. But it's true, though. They don't leave that shit. So, like, you stumble across a cow with this monkey, frog, cow, calf in its belly, and then a bunch of gas masks and glow sticks. You're like, something is amiss. It quickly became known that the cattle mutilations were very often tied to nearby UFO sightings, and the Colorado-New Mexico border region had become one of the most prominent sites in the country for both kinds of reports by the early 80s. Dulce houses the headquarters of the Jicarilla Apache Reservation of northern New Mexico and is largely inhabited by indigenous peoples. Although the town is small and unassuming, it continues to draw heavy tourism by ufologists that hosts an annual Dulce-based UFO conference. We need to find out how to get into this conference.
Yeah, we should.
Annual.
It's pretty close to us.
It's not far. I think it's closer to the Clown Motel.
I'll be honest, I've never been to Arizona.
You've passed through it.
Yeah, of course, going to Vegas.
But you've never actually gone into.
I don't count that as
right. But you've never gone into Arizona to stay.
No.
Oh.
Like literally, when you drive to Vegas from Utah to Vegas,
very
you go
briefly.
to Arizona very briefly.
Yeah, you pass through California, Nevada, Arizona, off and on. I go to Arizona twice a year. It's great. Okay, other claims, perhaps the most incredible, came from a former government engineer named Phil Schneider.
Yeah, dude, his story's nuts.
Yeah, he claimed to have helped build the Dulce base in 1979. He mentioned himself and others encountering aliens during the construction, but military servicemen engaged in a gun battle with them, later brokering a peace deal with the beings. He claims to have lost several fingers during said firefight. So this part always makes me laugh because it's I just imagine them down there building this base, constructing it, and aliens show up and all of a sudden just they're just getting gunned down by the military out of nowhere, and you're like, what the fuck? And then they're back to work building this base.
Yeah.
The aliens just show up underground while they're constructing this thing.
He said that they had technology, the U.S. government, to build these giant tunnels that go all across America.
Yeah.
Just like butter. They go super quick.
Yeah. Schneider claimed that roughly 60 people were killed in this firefight, but none of his statements were ever proven. Schneider has several public speeches that are very entertaining and can be found on YouTube, with his most famous being the 1995 presentation in which he encountered the aliens underground. Sadly, Schneider died by suicide in 1996 after touring with his claims of the Dulce base. I was wondering, researching this,
Well,
he's being very vocal.
In his story, though, he says he got shot by a plasma discharge.
With his, that's why he lost his fingers.
And he'll open up his chest, and there's this giant scar across his chest.
Yeah, you should definitely watch these videos.
Oh,
They're intense. Just Google it on YouTube.
It's alien candy, man. It's fun.
Yeah, Phil Schneider. If you really want to go into it, definitely Google that. But before we go any further, we're going to bounce over to Cleet for some filler stories.
Is that all you have for Dulce?
No.
All right, cool. I'll be reading from the Reddit thread. What is the scariest alien story you've heard? What people and places did it involve?
Oh, shit.
This person, called communications number 3283,
That's
says,
an alien. This is an alien.
I was a truck driver back in the day, and I was doing a 22-hour shift driving back from Oakland back to Fresno.
Fuck?
So illegal now.
Yeah, you can stop for 2 hours and take a power snooze.
You can have some almonds, and you gotta go.
What he's doing is pulling over and popping some Adderall and doing a line. It's the only thing that's keeping him awake.
And I was on the 33 from the 5, taking back roads to avoid scales for obvious reasons.
There's a lot of numbers in this.
And I was on this pitch black road surrounded by fields, which is all there is out here. And I saw a light on my left hand side above me. I didn't think much of it, but it was getting closer and bigger slowly until I saw it just go directly at me fast. I remember thinking I was going to die, and it's funny because they say your life flashes before your eyes when you die. And I remember just having a flood of memories of my mom, my wife, and my brothers. I was frozen, and I had to let go of the accelerator and just felt stiff as this huge light was above my rig. It must have lasted like 10 seconds, but it felt like an hour. Suddenly, the light went to the right and then gone super fast. I was sweating by the time it was all over. I remember telling as many people as possible, and everyone says I was up for too long. I was up for too long.
I mean, there's credence there. I mean,
That's like when someone says they did a bunch of drugs and they saw something crazy.
it's like, you were on how many drugs? You were up for how many hours?
And he says, and all kinds of BS like that. But I was young, 23 years old at the time. I was doing runs like this all the time.
I love that's like a bragging. I was doing 22-hour runs all day long in my youth.
And then he ends with, anyways, this is a true story. Well, good. I'm glad you didn't fucking lie to Reddit.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Communication 32.627-alien. Cool.
So this person is called Unlikely Heron 4887. My girlfriend's mom's story. Because it happened to someone I know and believe.
I believe my girlfriend's mom.
Yeah, she's got it going on.
Stacy's mom saw an alien.
She was house sitting for her boss when she was in her early 20s. She came back from a friend's house around the corner and saw something standing next to the 8-foot wall around the property. It had a slender frame and massive head, similar to how gray and mantis beings are depicted. She could only make out the silhouette, but it was taller than the wall. All she had with her was half the apple she was eating, so she threw it at the thing, and it walked away.
Aw.
That's rude.
That's some good hospitality.
Greetings, Earth. Oh my God, I gotta go.
You throw a fucking apple at me?
So it walked away around the corner, as if they were gliding across the ground, and disappeared. It's not much of an encounter, but the fact that I know that she wouldn't make something like that up makes it real to me.
What would she make up, though? I mean, it's no wonder why we're always afraid of, like, getting, massacred by aliens, because the first thing we do when we see them is throw an apple.
Yeah. They're like, you know what? I'm going to probe the shit out of you.
All right. Back to Dulce Base. So those in attendance of the conference have some disagreements on the origins of the base. Some claim that it was built intentionally as a research facility, while others believe it was after a nuclear detonation beneath the New Mexico desert in 1967, when the U.S. was attempting to simulate subterranean gas reservoirs, which led to the discovery of cave-dwelling aliens. So do you believe that we built it to harbor aliens, or we found underground aliens because of detonating bombs?
Well, I think the government, the president at the time, made a deal with the aliens. I can't remember which one. It's in the alien lore.
Okay.
Made a treaty with the aliens where they built it, and they co-op. The aliens give us technology, and we let them experiment on humans. That's the whole premise of Dulce Base.
Yeah. With the growing interest in both cattle mutilations and claims of electronic signals, the Dulce base legend was born. Benowitz published a paper titled Project Beta in 1988, which detailed the best way to infiltrate the facility. Storm Area 51, essentially. It's like the pre-storm. It's like, we're just going to show up and storm it. Nothing bad will happen.
Have you ever Naruto run?
No.
It's good, dude. It's good.
Not for me. There are several illustrations and claims on Dulce base's layouts. The so-called experts claim that it's a 7-story structure going 2 miles into the ground. It's said to have an ever-increasing military presence the deeper that it goes. Each floor is said to be designated for specific research, such as mind control on human beings to genetic experiments resulting in alien-human hybrids. There are diagrams that suggest gray and reptilian aliens have their own housing, with employees allegedly calling the 6th floor the Nightmare Hall. So the Nightmare Hall is the most terrifying of all of them. It is on this floor where the screams of human victims being experimented on will echo through the corridors. Schneider mentioned a conflict breaking out between the various factions of aliens and the military. He also states that Dulce Base is one of 129 hidden facilities of its kind in the U.S., which you mentioned is built like butter underneath our feet. So we could have an alien fortress right below our feet and you don't even know. So if you hear like random screams through the night, could be an underground base.
Wait, that sound like it was coming from the ground.
Could be an alien giving birth to a human-lizard hybrid. Schneider and his supporters allege that the U.S. has a so-called black budget, which is the funding for these alleged facilities. It's classified military spending and is estimated to range between $50 and $80 billion. Well, that's where our fucking money is going.
$80 billion.
$80 billion. UFO sightings in the U.S. are continuing to appear, and with the recent Pentagon admittance of Air Force footage of an unidentified aerial vehicle being real, it doesn't show any signs of slowing down. Residents of Dulce have claimed to see UFOs since the early 60s. A resident named Geraldine Julian said, "The whole town of Dulce, whoever you want to talk to, they'll tell you what they've seen. It's not just a fairy tale. All the things are true, and I believe every last one of them too, because I've seen it myself."
I've seen it with my own goddamn eyes.
So there you have it. Another secret base underground full of 7 levels of alien human lizard hybrids. Fun shit.
I heard that all the missing people in America
Wind up there.
Yeah.
Maybe not this one specifically, but an underground alien hybrid base.
No. Person you see on that milk carton? Arizona. In that goddamn 7th floor, being experimented on them aliens.
Yeah, but it was like I had heard the name, but it was fun diving into. Has nothing on Stardust Ranch, in my opinion, which I'm excited to get into.
Well, I've never heard of Stardust Ranch.
Yeah.
Say it.
But we'll get into it after you tell us a couple more Reddit stories.
All right. This one is from B-Dub Ducks. I had a job interview at an air freight company back in 1993. This was at Toledo, Ohio airport and was probably in September. Because the job was a 3rd shift, I had to interview at 3 a.m. Oh my God.
What the fuck is this nonsense? So like, hey, the only spot we have for an interview is 3 a.m. I'm like, I don't want the job. Simple. Don't want the job.
I'm always drunk at that time.
That's when I start drinking.
No, you start at 10
a.m.
and you just keep going.
Yeah, maybe you do.
No, not anymore. So I interview, get the job, and I'm driving back to Bowling Green using the back roads. This was the same route I used to get to the interview, so everything looked familiar.
I'm an idiot. I'm thinking like, oh, it was a 3 a.m. interview over like the webcam. It's 90-3. He had to drive there, which means he had to wake his ass up probably at 1:30.
So what he did is he got one of those AOL CDs.
Walked in with his Walkman. I am ready for this.
You're online. We're going to do this interview instant messenger. Well, I'm driving along, and there's just farmhouses and cornfields. It's 3:45 a.m. approximately. I notice some lights in the fields, various colors, about 100 yards away, about 150 feet in the air. I thought, oh, cool, a helicopter from the U.S. Army Reserve Station at the airport.
Like he said that. Oh, cool, a helicopter from a U.S. Army Reserve Station at the airport.
Wow.
Fancy.
Wow.
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 So I slow down and roll down my window. I don't hear a helicopter and I don't see any wash from the rotors. I figure I'll shut off my car so I can hear better, except I don't hear anything. There's no helicopter noise, no wind, nothing. For a second, I thought I'd get out and walk closer to get a better look, but then I thought of every abduction story I had ever heard and decided to stay in the car.
I suddenly remembered every horror film I watched, and this is a bad idea.
This is not for science. The lights hadn't moved at all, and still, there's no noise. I start the car back up and drive away thinking I will go back the next day and probably see a tower with various lights on it to warn off airplanes. Except the next day, there's no tower, just an empty field.
Wow, the plot thickens.
So this person, named Jennifer Lauren 3, writes the story of Kyle Odom. He wrote a whole manifesto about his experience about how reptilians are real and hide in plain sight. He threw this manifesto over the White House gates to hopefully get it to Obama, who he also thought was being taunted and tortured by them.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, seems like a reasonable, mentally healthy person. One of these people in plain sight that he thought was a reptilian, he gunned down at point-blank range, even shot the pastor in the head at a .45 caliber, and the guy miraculously survived with no lasting effects.
Holy shit, you are lucky.
It was an interesting story, so read the manifesto, which you can still find online. The whole story is weird and creepy, and just made me really have this impending doom feeling for the longest time, that he was telling the truth. Sorry for shitty writing on my cell phone, but just Google his name and read the manifesto. Even if you don't believe the guy, the whole thing is interesting and a good read.
Shit, we might have to read that manifesto.
Yeah, right.
All right, on to Stardust Ranch, which, holy shit, was a fun one to look up. A horse ranch in Arizona, which seems to attract alien attention, leading to alien strikes, abduction attempts, and interdimensional travel. It became so much, the owner decided to sell his place. It may have been due to him fighting them off with a samurai sword. That would be the last straw for the camel. Stardust Ranch is located in Buckeye, Arizona, roughly an hour and a half from Phoenix, which is the notorious site of the Phoenix Lights. Would be another one to cover. It's just basically a bunch of lights were seen in Phoenix at one point. John Edmonds, the owner of the property, claims that it was a hotbed of extraterrestrial activity since he and his wife moved in 20 years ago. The house came with a strange tale of the former owners. They didn't move out onto greener pastures. They had just disappeared, and all their stuff was still in the house, said Edmonds. Among all of the claims that Edmonds had on the encounters, one involves aliens trying to abduct his wife right in front of him. There was a cone of light. It came down, and she started to rise up into that cone of light. I grabbed an AK-47 with a double banana clip in it.
You're fucking with me. Is that really it?
And I went outside and I opened up. That's his words, legitimately.
All I heard in the distance was, this wasn't for science.
I'm
not sure what that meant.
An AK-47 with a double banana clip. It's so specific. I love the detail that he puts into the gun he used. It's like it's the most important part of the tale. Like, hey, my wife started rising up, so I grabbed my double revolver bullet.
And I grabbed my gun, and I said...
He goes on to explain seeing and hearing them in his sunroom. The presence of them alone causing damage to his home. You ready for this one? The speed generated by their movement, 3 critters at once, made the glass in the double-pane windows actually buzz and misalign in the frames to the point that the windows are now very difficult to close and lock properly without using a screwdriver to realign them in the frame first.
That seems very specific. Like, did he grab a screwdriver when that happened and tried that?
I don't know. I believe the high-frequency buzz is a side effect of their partial in-phase or out-of-phase interdimensional travel.
Yeehaw!
So it's not that the windows, are settling or have any other damage. No, it's the aliens. So the whole thing of the aliens did it can be even further implemented, right? So I'm going to start blaming all my house damages on extraterrestrials, right? The floor is worn out right here because the little bastards are always scuttling around.
Son of a bitch.
Fridge is dirty because they won't take out their fucking leftovers. You can blame the aliens on all of your house problems now.
Yeah, insurance.
Yeah. This is probably my favorite claim from Edmonds. After a particularly nasty altercation between himself and the aliens who really loved this ranch, Edmonds claims to have collected samples from them after, quote-unquote, nearly splitting a gray in two parts with an exceptionally well-sharpened samurai sword.
What?
Yeah.
What is The Walking Dead?
Yeah, so he's got an AK-47 with a double banana clip and an exceptionally well-sharpened samurai sword.
This guy seems like an anime character.
Yeah. I'm seriously impressed with this guy's arsenal. This brutal encounter involved Edmonds hacking away and offing 18 grays, as he calls it, with said samurai sword, going as far as sharing a photo of bloodstains from the encounter. Some had asked and even wondered, where are the remains? The blood could be from anything. We want to see the goddamn aliens.
Well, conveniently, something happened.
Oh yeah, here we go. If you don't take the heads, they disappear. Unless you cut the head off and disconnect the antenna, so to speak, they instantly phone home. I wonder where he got that from.
E.T., brother.
Even with a razor-sharp sword, it's nearly impossible to decapitate them with one swing.
All that was left was Reese's Pieces.
Yeah. So that's what he said. According to sources who analyzed the material, the liquid sample appears to be pure hemoglobin, and the skin looks like segmented grass. Except it's not grass. Stardust Ranch is a very spacious plot of land that Edmonds used for a horse rescue called Hopeful Hooves. It's so spacious that aliens must have deemed it a great spot for their portals and travels, as Edmonds mentioned often seeing portals or Stargate-like openings appear on and around the ranch. Such openings are often large enough for triangular craft, wings, or orb-like ships to pass through. These objects leave the space around the ranch and other craft re-enter the sky around the ranch and portal by passing through it.
We're just two ships passing through the night.
Yeah. So he literally has all these claims about the ranch. Now, you can imagine the constant fighting with the aliens that would leave someone battle-worn to some degree. Edmonds has the marks to prove that his tangles with the invaders are true, including a photo of a horribly nasty mark on his calf, which he recalls coming from battle with malevolent E.T. Edmonds and his wife mentioned experiencing skin punctures, triangular depressions in the skin, and severe bruising, and skin disfigurement similar to what one would experience if exposed to radiation, followed by nausea, gastrointestinal distress, and chronic fatigue and muscle weakness. So not only can you blame the aliens for home damage, but you can also pin your poor diet and clumsiness on them too.
Oh, wow. What a scapegoat.
So literally everything that happens, god damn aliens.
Went to McDonald's again.
I saw this alien and my fucking shin just became bruised. I didn't whack it on the coffee table or nothing. Teams of investigators would visit the ranch hoping to experience some of these anomalies for themselves. One team supposedly spotted an alien on the property, causing it to freeze in place. It then dropped a strange object on the ground, which appeared to be small, round stone featuring a hollowed-out center, resembling the many portals Edmonds mentioned seeing on the ranch. You know what that object was? It was the apple that bitch threw at him.
I thought it was an anal bead.
Well, that too. It's for science.
It's not for science.
That's for science.
We came 100 light years here to do this to you.
Edmonds isn't the only one who had issues with the property. Arizona's 12 News spoke with a prior inhabitant named Gina Irons, who mentioned strange things happening on the property during her time there in the early 70s. She mentioned being eager to leave the place after her and her siblings spotted something green lurking in the hallway. Another person, claiming to be a non-believer, mentioned witnessing a strange figure in the home one night, chasing it through the house. He returned with the hair on his arms, standing straight up and shaking. No one was there. Bet you're a believer now. It gained enough attention to attract the crew of Ghost Adventures, the popular travel channel show featuring a team of ghost hunters. They seemed convinced of the property's paranormal activities as several team members saw strange figures and lights, with one woman ending up with bruises on her arms. So it's corroborating the bruising story.
That show's so over the top.
What's the one guy's name who's like Aaron, who's always like, he's like whipping around.
The ghost followed me home and I have problems now. Oh, so irritating.
Someone has very strong feelings towards that show.
No, that whole show is annoying. Like, I should be on that show. Legitimately. If you're listening to this, whoever the fuck you are who creates it.
We're going to have our own. We're going to the Clown Motel for episode 1.
I would be the best antithesis to that show.
You
You'd
just
be like,
be...
oh, and I'd be like, Yeah, this is fucking bullshit. Like,
You'd just be standing there the whole time, like, yeah,
smoking a cigarette.
this is annoying.
I don't even smoke, but I'm so irritated. I'm smoking right now.
You just tape a Ouija board to your back, like, I'm not even scared.
Yeah.
I'm not even scared. So if this sounds like the place for you, it could be yours for the measly price of $5 million. It sits on 10 acres of land fitted with all the amenities you could ever want. 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, 2 horse corrals, a pool, and a guest house. Oh, and the biggest selling point, frequent visits from extraterrestrials. Edmonds does warn, though, it's not something for traditional family, but it holds a lot of secrets and what I believe are future opportunities to understand forces that are in the universe. Please be very well grounded because the energy here has the tendency to manifest with whatever is going on with you. So I think we need to buy it. We need to make it our recording studio.
$5 million. That's all we need.
Yeah, we need to make it our recording studio. So there you have it. Another ranch with strange alien involvement.
This one is from Ever696.
Ever sick.
When I was 18, my grandparents bought me a used Jeep for graduating high school.
Oh, that's so nice of them.
That weekend, they left for the city, and I got my dad to stay there with me because I felt I was being watched. Anyways, I used to hear and see things in the corner of my eye.
I wonder how this is going to be, devolved to aliens.
Around 1:30 in the morning, I decided to go for a ride around the loop and came to these fields. There used to be an old horse farm. There was a thick fog covering the whole road and fields, so I decided to just go through and take it slow.
Smart.
Always take it slow.
Always take it slow.
And use the tip.
For science!
And use the tips of the hydro poles on the side as indicators that I'm still on the road. I keep looking up and down, making sure I'm on the road, and I look up again, and there is a huge ship hovering right above me.
Oh.
My heart instantly dropped, and I remember saying, "Oh my God." It was probably 150 to 200 feet above me. The first thing it reminded me of is a Covenant Mother ship from Halo. I like that reference. I like that a lot.
Okay, that's good.
It was dark purple color, had a big enough opening in the middle. It was so close to me that I could see some windows that were lit up. I was slowly going the opposite direction. I was going, but I couldn't back up and following it because of the fog. I went and told my dad, and in a short 5 minutes heading back to the fog, was gone.
I hadn't slept for 22 hours, and I was playing Halo the
I
whole
saw some
time.
Things.
That game broke me.
Bad things. All right, this one is from Accidental Annual. Well, long story short, in 1991, I had visitors who told me a few things. It was pretty scary. I considered it to be bad dreams, but they used words I had to look up. English is not my native language. Apology for clumsy writing. In 2007, I was working alone at the office.
What is the words?
I don't know, man. Hello, my child. In the sky, 2 dark dots appeared. At first, I thought that they were planes or something, but they did not move at all. The sky was turbulent because of a major thunderstorm. The dots did not move for about 20 minutes. After that, they were just gone. A few years later, my life started to change. Job change, many coincidences everywhere, as if a big puzzle was unfolding. Around 2012 or so, I started to have very vivid dreams about them. Things were shown. Things were explained. At a certain point, I refused to believe what was happening, so I asked for undeniable proof I could verify. Fast forward around 2015, a binary code was shown, 0010110. I found out it was already kind of a viral on weird channels about spirituality and aliens. I was never interested in the matter. I didn't know it existed. After a while, I got the key to the code. It was encrypted Morse code. This is so
Jesus
stupid.
Christ.
Morse code is encrypted, man. I don't, maybe I'm wrong. Very clear. I started with 4 segments, and now there are more than 18.
He cracked the code to the math vault of Trinidad.
Oh.
He knows the secrets now.
I was also asked to look up music albums with certain song or certain word in the song title.
Jesus Christ.
The music album titles would form messages for us. Humanity, synchronicity, and history were the first. Many more followed. Some of the lists are in reverse chronological order. Messages written backward in time, spanning decades, definitely not man-made. Since comments with links get deleted here on several Reddit subs forums, you'll have to Google yourself 0010110.
Google it now.
Morse translation, Pick the Destiny Earth page. The title is lame, but it comes from the time when the first translations had just come in. Back then I had no clue. It was just beginning of something way bigger than I could imagine. I thought we were just being prepared for open contact. Links to the page will bring you to lists of music albums. The titles on those pages are links to actual albums to verify. On several tracks lists, you will find even more clues.
This is a hell of an attempt to share a playlist.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, what is this?
I don't know, man.
I'm going to post this very cryptic message, and here's my favorite playlist.
Because aliens.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap up our episode. Thank you very much for the suggestion, Clayton. We're always here for some good old alien stories. It does give a lot more to be included with the aliens did it idea, and you guys can literally pin aliens for everything, it seems. And again, happy 21st birthday. Thank you for the support of the show. Keep the stories coming in. And have a Captain and Dr. Pepper. We're just going to call it Captain Pepper. Have a Captain Pepper for us here at the Abyss. And a huge shout out to our 10 paid supporters of the show: Claytor, Lord of Soup, Curtis and Lara, Jackson, Supernatural, Tessa, Modelo Time, Mothman, Devin, Conklin Family, and Lou. We're hoping to do something special for you all as you're our first 10 paid supporters of the show. And if you want to support the show, we will put the link down below. All of your money goes to very good use to help us further the show. Again, we are getting very, very close to our overnight stay at the Clown Motel in Nevada with cameras, Ouija boards, and maybe even another Captain Pepper and some more alcohol.
I might even dress up as a clown. Who the fuck knows what's going to happen? We're about 126 subs away from this actually being taken place. If you're listening to us on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe, as it really helps us get us out there. And it furthers the progress of the Clown Hotel trip,
which is one of many trips to come.
As always, thank you for entering the Abyss.
Until next time. And just remember, this is not for science. This is for pleasure.